back to another exciting episode of Shamisen Schoolhouse with your intrepid host, myself, Mike Penny. Let's get to the matter at hand, which is today the fourth mode in the diatonic scale, the Lydian mode. Possibly my favorite mode. I don't know. They're all my favorite at different times in different contexts. But the Lydian mode is a major mode with a raised fourth. So you guys know what that means by now. The fourth scale degree is raised from what it normally is. So what is it normally? The default is always the major scale Ionian mode, the first one you learned. Why am I... So you look at Ionian mode. That's your fourth scale degree, right? That's the fourth. And again, as always, we're in C. We're tuned to C, the key of C right now. So F, the fourth scale degree F, we raise that for Lydian mode to create this cool, tense tonality. I love Lydian, and one of the most well-known pieces of music in American pop culture that uses the Lydian mode is the Simpsons theme, which I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, recognize. So we'll go over that a little later in the lesson today, but the first thing we're going to go over, of course, is the scale itself. So, as always, I'm going to teach you the mode in the open tuning position, meaning we're going to use the open strings. So we're going to play this in the key of C, just because it gives us more options. We're already at a disadvantage playing shamisen. It's so hard to play Western music because we need to be able to use those open strings. So, you know, if somebody's playing in D major, and they go in, and you want to play some Lydian, then tune to D and then play Lydian. Luckily, you know, we can play, if we tune to B, and then we use the same fingering, we can play in B Lydian. Tune to A, use the same fingering. The fingering will never change, it's just you need to tune to whatever key the other musicians are playing in, or some relative key that makes the fingering easy. So anyway, here's the scale, starting with open ichi no ito as always, and then much like the Ionian scale, you probably know most of these are gonna know how to play this. You're probably going to know words. You're probably gonna know how to play most of this already, because the only thing we're changing, the only scale degree we're changing relative to the Ionian scale, the main major scale, is the fourth. So everything's still the same as Ionian except for that fourth scale degree. So open ichi no ito. And then 2 on ichi. And I'm using my index finger for that. And then I'm using my index finger. You could use your ring finger too, for 3 sharp on ichi. Now here's the difference. Instead of going to 4, you're going to use your ring finger and go to 5 on ichi no ito. The raised fourth, they call that the devil's note, or the tritone. They called it the devil's note forever. It sounds kind of demonic, doesn't it? But it's pretty common nowadays. Now switch to your ni no ito, open ni no ito, and then 2 on ni no ito. And then your major 7th, ring finger on 3 sharp of ni no ito. And then end with open san no ito. So we have 2, 3, 4. Okay? This note is the only one that changed. The fourth scale degree was raised 1 semitone, or 1 half note, they call it. 4 to 5. Okay, so now continuing an octave up. So we ended with open san no ito. So now, just like before, we're gonna go to 2. I'm sorry, you could go to 2 on San Noito. Let's do that today, because you've learned the other ones. If you want an alternate fingering using Ni Noito, watch the Ionian mode video, the very first one I made, and adjust. I'm going to show you a different fingering today, probably the most intuitive, which is to use 2 on San Noito. So we started open San Noito, then 2, then 3 sharp, then 5, then 6, then we go to 8, then 9 sharp, and finally 10. So all together, both octaves, we have. So now it's time to learn the Simpsons theme that I played in the beginning of the video. So obviously there was some not so clever editing where I had to switch instantaneously from pizzicato using my fingers to bocce. So I'm going to skip the pizzicato part. If you guys really want to know how to play that part, let me know. Send me a message. I'd be happy to show you guys, make another video or something. But I think the main theme is what everyone probably would like to bust out at a get-together or something, right? So let's just learn that little bit. It's actually it's not too bad. It's pretty easy to play because you can stay in essentially the same hand position for all of it. I'm going to show you the way I play it. And as always, I'm going to assume not everyone has super spider-like weird alien hands and show you another possibly easier fingering as well afterwards or simultaneously. Let's do it that way. So first off, just open San Noito. Then I use my ring finger for 8 on Ni Noito. You could also play 3 sharp on San Noito. Same note.
Schoolhouse.
As I've mentioned many times, I like to play using economy of motion as much as possible because it allows you to play faster. And at the end of the day, it's not all about playing fast, but it's about playing cleanly and not having to move as much because it gives you more freedom. You're concentrating less on these vast distances you have to jump all over the neck and more on just the musicality of it, the expression. So less motion gives you more room to actually play with the notes and give it more expression. Again, this is not a microphone. So, okay, so I'm sorry, where were we? So, open San Noito, 8, either with your ring finger. I use actually my pinky, but you can do ring finger on 8 of Ni Noito. 2, 5, our crucial Lydian note. This is the money note for Lydian. 5 on San Noito. So we have, right? Now we're going to skip over 6 and go to 8 on San Noito, which you can use. I use my pinky, and I keep my finger down on 5 of San Noito, just to keep myself sort of oriented on the neck, but you don't have to do that. You could go and then use your ring finger again and just jump from 5 to 8 on San Noito. So let's try that. Okay? So after that, we go to 6 on San Noito with your index finger. Okay, pretty easy. Okay, then 8 with your ring finger on Ni Noito. Oops, sorry. Back to 8 on Ni Noito. And then open San Noito. Okay, Now, keep your ring finger down on the ni no ito note, 8 on ni no ito, because don't keep it down there, but keep it hovering above that note, because you're going to switch strings down to the ichi no ito, or up, depending on how you look at it, to the exact same note. So it's from 8, it's 8 on ni no ito to 8 on ichi no ito. Sorry, I'm all tongue-tied tonight. I don't know why. That's your next note, 8 on ichi no ito. Okay, pretty far along. So then we go to the lower octave money note. We played the higher octave money note of Lydian, that 5. Now we're going to 5 on ichi no ito, an octave down. So with your index finger, I recommend play 3 5s on ichi no ito, and then 6 with your second finger, your middle finger. I play you could play an open ni no ito, because it's the same note as 6 on ichi no ito, right? Both of those were the same, but different fingerings. But I like to play the 6 on ichi no ito, because then you can give it some expression, some vibrato, or, you know, you can do a slide. You can do more things with the note on the neck as opposed to just an open. I guess you could shake the shamisen violently, but why would you do that? Sorry. That's late. I should make that clear to you guys. It's very late. It's about it's almost midnight here, and I worked a full day at the Japan Foundation, but I am stoked to show you guys how to play Simpsons on shamisen. I think I was born to do this. Sounds like sarcasm, but I don't think it is. I think I really mean I love this. Yes. Anyway, I'm a little loopy. I'm probably going to cut most of this out. Yeah, it's all going to be cut out.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Mike.
So, okay, where did we leave off? On 6 of ichi no ito. Okay, then we return to 5. So don't go too far when you slide on 6. Maybe it's better to do some vibrato. And then, because you're going to go back to 5 on ichi no ito, and then back to 6. So a repeat of the 1, 2, 3, 3 5s, and then a 1 6 on ichi no ito. Okay, so where were we? So we ended with 6 on ichi no ito. Okay, after that, I'm going to change my tune. And recommend that you're going to play the same thing, 3 5s, and then this note, but this time I recommend you use an open note. Yes, I do. I had to check my work, because then you're going to jump to another note, and that, using the open string, the open ni no ito this time, gives you a chance to move quickly, let your hand off of the neck, and find your next note on ichi no ito, which is 9. So it's a little trick of the trade. Okay, so we have, that was our last note, ichi no ito, 9 on ichi no ito. We had, okay, then we're going back, we're repeating those 2 bars again. Okay. And then we come to the end of, at least my arrangement of this little excerpt. You're going to play all 3 strings, and ichi and san are going to just be open strings, but you're going to actually play 7 on ni no ito. So in order to get all of these 3 strings to sound clearly so that you can hear the notes, make sure you're curving your finger on top of the ni no ito note, so as not to block or accidentally mute the san no ito, because it's easy to curve over the neck and accidentally touch the 3rd string, and then you're not going to hear the open san no ito. Hear that? It's muted, so you want to make sure, just like if any of you guys took piano lessons, keep those fingers curved, curve over the string and down. So we want to hear all three 3 strings very clearly. So we're going to play 1, 2, 3, 3 times this combination of notes. And then next, we're going to just still open san and open ichi, but we're going to put our ring finger down on 8 of ni no ito. So we were on 7, so now we're just moving down a note. Or actually up in pitch, but down on the neck. And that's the end. So we have... Okay, this one's a doozy. Well, it's that time again. It's time for your chop builder! Yeah! Sorry. Here it is. So this chop builder really uses a lot of the neck and uses some different techniques. This is a kind of advanced one, but you can break it up into chunks and practice the heck out of those chunks and then come back to things later. So with all these chop builders, it's more important that you just take something away from them that's useful, that you can adapt in your own way when you're improvising or writing music or playing with friends or whatever. So even if you necessarily can't play the whole chop builder, that's not really the point. The point is just to pick up a new technique or something. But I know there's some of you ambitious ones out there who want to learn the whole thing. I've gotten messages from you, so let's do this. This one's a doozy. So we start with open ichi. So then we have upstroke sukui bachi on 3 sharp of ichi no ito using our index finger. Then back another tataki ushiro bachi with our ring finger down on 5 of ichi no ito. Suberi bachi into open ni no ito. Okay, then our index finger should be right in place. It played 3 sharp, which is the same position as 3 sharp on ni no ito. So, and that's what we're going to play next. So, with the same finger, index finger. So the index finger just had to transfer strings, but stayed in the same position. Okay. Suberi bachi into san no ito, open now. Okay. So again, our hand's kind of staying in the same position so far because now the ring finger is going to go down on 5 of san no ito. Okay, downstroke, and then upstroke, sukui bachi, index finger 3 sharp of san no ito. Okay, now with the same finger, we go to 2 on san no ito, and that's a downstroke, tataki. So then we have an upstroke again, sukui bachi, 3 sharp with our ring finger on the same string, san no ito. So at least on san no ito so far we have a pattern of downstroke, upstroke, upstroke. So, okay, then back to 2, index finger on san no ito. Now you guessed it, upstroke, sukui bachi. And now it's on open san no ito. So far we have 2, 3, 4. Okay, now we're going to switch strings. But your hand can stay in the same position. Ring finger on 3 sharp of ni no ito, downstroke. Upstroke next, sukui bachi on index finger 2 of ni no ito. Okay, so we have, and then open ni no ito. Okay, and then hammer on to 5 of ichi no ito. So we're not actually playing this with the bachi, we're just hammering on. So it's good to practice that so that you can make it really audible. without having to use your right hand, which is a little hard, but excuse my unprofessionalism. I'm just gonna tilt that way. I'm sorry about that, everyone. What can I say? I went to a different school. Okay, so we have and that's the only note we haven't hit so far with the bocce, the right hand. And then we start again. I have to remember it now. Okay, so now we start the second half of this chop builder, which begins a lot like the first. That's all the same as before, so I'll just speed through it. Starting from Ichi no Ito, open, upstroke 3 sharp, 5, slide into open Ni no Ito, 3 sharp Ni no Ito, slide into open San, 5, San no Ito, upstroke, 3 sharp on San no Ito. Now here's where the alternate ending starts. This involves something we went over, I think in the first lesson or the second lesson, probably the first, I think so. Gypsy trills we call them, Balkan trills. Okay, you're gonna have to figure out what fingering works for you. I'm using ring finger and middle finger here. Ring finger on 6 of San no Ito. Okay, downstroke. Now, I already have my middle finger lined up where I want it to be, which is 5 of San no Ito. I already have that in place, so it's ready to go. Press down so that when I let off with my ring finger, it's there, ready to be played. So that's next. It's an upstroke, a Sukui Bachi on 5 of San no Ito. And then a hammer on quickly back to 6 with the ring finger. Remember those, the Balkan trills? That hammer on has to happen really quickly. So the same effect is possible with any combination of fingers. You could use your middle finger instead of your ring finger on 6 of San no Ito, and then your index finger on 5. That might be an easier stretch, because what I'm doing is, and then I play 5 San no Ito, and then an upstroke onto with my index finger on 3 sharp. Okay? Okay, then with my ring finger I play 5 again, San no Ito, upstroke on 3 sharp with my index finger. Okay, now down to 2 on San no Ito. Okay, then I use my pinky. That's a big stretch, so probably what you're going to want to do is just quickly shift the whole hand down, move the hand. We're on 2 with our index finger of San no Ito. With your ring finger, get to 5 very quickly on San no Ito with an upstroke. So we have, and then after you do that, transition 2 to 5. The last note is just an open Ichi, open Ni, and your index finger on 3 sharp of San no Ito. A nice major triad. Well, as always, it was a load of fun. It was a barrel of monkeys, spending time talking at you and showing you things on the shamisen. Until next time it's going to be Mike-Lydian mode. Oh boy, that's another one I love. Surprise, surprise. I can't wait till we get to the 6th mode, because that's going to rock your world theory-wise. It's all going to start making sense. I think retroactively things will make sense after you see that video. So stay tuned for the next video for sure, but definitely Number 6, the Aeolian mode, which is the natural minor mode. We already learned the natural major mode. So, guys, gals, friends, foes, until next time, I'm Mike Penny saying,